What I wanted to do is just do a little wish list, as we're gonna get season 3 soon. So I wanted to do this on stream. I'm also recording for YouTube, and I've just put out a couple of characters here, nothing too serious. It's a little mock-up of a tier list. As you can see, not all characters I even featured, because I don't want this to be too long. Normally when you talk a tier list Tekken, it's at least 1 hour, maybe 2 hours. And here, like I did on a previous few videos, I want to talk about characters I really think should be nerfed and characters I really think should be buffed. And maybe we could even do some form of detail on them, like what could you work on. So I thought that could be interesting. Season 3 is a reality now. It will be out in September. We've already seen in the trailer a couple of new moves on the characters, like for example Jin getting some new utility from Forward 1+2, getting a new Zen 1 extension, and it's all scary stuff because Jin is not a character you want to see buffed at this point. You don't want to see him get more options because he's got every single fucking thing covered. You know, he's very good at everything. He's a Swiss Army knife that's, you know, very sharp as well. Well, I mean, you get the point. Like, he's a perfect character, in my opinion. So, I'm gonna get right to it. If you've ever watched a Tekken tournament in Season 2, you've seen the characters in the top here. Like, Geese, these are the usual suspects. Geese, Steve Fox, Jin. Can you even count the amount of times you've seen them? Or the players that use them? Have either like Geese or Steve as a sub-character? Like, seriously, that player list never ends. And just looking at the top 8 at EVO, seriously, when I was there watching it live, everyone just groaned whenever someone picked Steve Fox, because it felt like he was actually used by, what, 3 different players in the top 8? I mean, I think it was actually 3 players who used him in the top 8. And Geese was used a lot. Although I really like Geese, he's very hype, but it's just obvious to me that Steve here has to be toned down. He's kind of lost his identity. He's still the counter hit monster and pressure bully, the safe British boxer, but they've patched with flex tape too many of the holes in his game. You can't do that, and it's the same with Jin. They just fix everything. It's like Jin in Season 1 was extremely strong. Like, oh, his Electric Wind hook fist. Oh, what? It launches now on normal hit? Okay. Oh, his combos used to suck? Suddenly he has the most versatile and almost the most damaging combos in the game? With the most reliable ender, down back 2-2-3? Oh, he can bound from his house sweep? Oh! Oh, he has more Zen cancels, stance cancels. Oh, okay. You know, and then here comes Season 2. Oh, his standing 4, you know how it was kind of awkward to get a combo from that? Now it's super easy and you do max damage. You know, as much damage as one of his most damaging staples. And it's like, okay, when is this gonna end? Bandai Namco, like how much more are you gonna buff him? Might as well strap a fucking rocket, you know, 70% up his ass, you know, and have him... you know, I'm not gonna go into a rant here, but it's very easy to get into a rant when you look at how Jin has progressed as a character since Season 1, you know. He was nerfed too much in Tekken 5, and then they've buffed him ever since that, and right now it's too much. And Steve Fox, it's the same, you know, all the... Oh, he can't break a turtle. Let's give him the unblockable Blue Spark guard break. Let's make his low safer. Oh, he needs a natural hit launcher. Back 2. Oh, you know what? His up for 2 has got a wonky bad hitbox. Let's give him a proper orbital up for 2. Oh, his rage drive kind of sucks. What can we do in Season 2? Oh, let's give him a second rage drive, guys. Oh, you know what? His Sonic Fang, 14 frames. Have it launch. Well, thanks again, Bandai Namco. Like, a character that was S tier in Season 1, I looked at the changelog for Season 2. I can't wait to see the Steve Fox nerfs. Buff, buff, buff. New Rage Drive, best in the game. Okay. I mean, and then you hear sometimes actually Steve Fox and Devil Jin players complain about their characters. I mean, honestly, you won't find more spoiled children than Steve and Devil Jin players. Their characters are guaranteed S tier. You know, Tekken 8, I won't even have to look at a changelog. I know Steve Fox is gonna be S tier. Devil Jin's gonna be S tier. You know, it's just a given by this point. Those characters are cherished, to say the least, by the development team. Like they love those characters. So Steve Fox has to be taken down a notch. Just do anything, maybe remove a new Rage Drive, and if you don't want to do that, he's a safe character, he's a boxer, that's part of his identity, but maybe his lows, you know, down back 2, maybe it shouldn't be minus 12, you know, and down 1, maybe more risk involved with that. Yeah, just... I'm not entirely sure how I would balance him, but maybe we can start by removing the buffs he got going into Season 2. Season 1 was already a very strong character. Jin is too versatile and perfect right now. Forward 4 and standing 4 alone cover 36 different options, and then he has an abundance of other just 10 out of 10 moves. He is just too perfect. He needs a nerf. Maybe not nerf forward 4, even though I would like to see that be unsafe at least, considering the range. But standing 4 counter hit has to be removed. Down 4 should be made more unsafe, again, in my opinion. That's where you can start to make him more interesting again, because honestly, with these two characters, it's like how much do you feel it's a player's accomplishment when they win with those characters? To be honest, in Season 2, I'm like, okay, you won, you play Steve and Jin. You have to work with hard characters to use, but it's like the characters almost play themselves at this point. They're so strong. Devil Jin, I would like his Hell Sweep to go back to Tag 2 status where it doesn't launch. I think the launch is too much, it's obnoxious. Just make it go, it doesn't float them, bam bam, 2 hits, 35 damage, and they recover crouching at -4. That would make Devil Jin more interesting in my opinion, but that's my opinion. Geese has to be nerfed. He's been nerfed. In Season 1 he was an absolute monster. In Season 2 he's still an absolute monster, even though he's been nerfed 3 times now. Back 2 has been nerfed, 15% less meter gain than Season 1, 15% drop in combo damage since Season 1. And that tells you all you need to know about Season 1 Geese. Oh, and Season 1 Geese 1+2 was safe. Yeah, take that in. But yeah, he still has to come down a little bit. He's still way too strong. Combo damage, offense, his defense is great. That counter hit dick jab, a lot of people don't know this, but you know when Geese does standing 2 into forward 1 into Jayaken or whatever, you know that's a natural combo. A lot of you people don't know this, but his down 1 dick jab, if that hits on counter hit, he can do the same thing. Transition guaranteed into forward 1 into Jayaken or max mode cancel to forward 1 into whatever. A lot of people don't know this, but it's basically laws down to 3, but much safer. It's super crazy. And good Geese players will set this up because it's 10 frame fast. They will set this up from a lot of his safe stuff, like down for 2, standing 4 on block, down for 1-1. It's super tricky, super deadly. I'm not saying they have to remove it, but that's just one aspect to a character who's full of the most extreme offensive tools. Yeah, I still feel like Geese, 3 nerfs later, he's still way too oppressive. He has to come down a notch. Law is a character that is extremely strong in Season 2. A lot of people don't know it. A lot of people don't use him in tournaments. The only time you see him is when Low High plays him. I know, God, what's his name? There's a really good British player who plays Law. His name starts with a G, I think. Guken? No, Gosain. He's really good with Law. Yeah, the character is extremely strong. I think if you nerf these guys and you don't do anything to Law, suddenly you're going to see a Law a shitload, I think, in tournaments. He's extremely strong. But Law, in my opinion, also has to be taken down a notch. Just great offensive tools, great defensive tools. 3+4 is the best punish in the game, if you ask me. It's just 14 frames, enormous range. No execution needed whatsoever. But those are the characters, in my opinion, that really have to come down. Everyone else, you know, I can really forgive, you know, going through this list. Like Paul, sure, he's very strong, but he's not problematic in the way as those characters I mentioned. Those characters I mentioned, they really have to come down. I mean, that is, you know, point number 1 in my wish list for Season 3. Please take those guys down. Because when I see the trailer, you know, and I see Steve do 4-2, and that wall bounces. Jin's forward 1+2, wall bounces. Devil Jin back 2 after a bound into Heaven's Gate, and you're like, okay, more damage from a Hell Sweep. You know, it's like, you get a little bit nervous, because all of that has to be combined with nerfs. If you're not buffing the rest of the cast quite a bit. But it is also worrying seeing... I feel Kazuya is perfect the way he is. You know, he's right at the start of S tier here. If you are godlike in execution and Tekken knowledge. If you know all of Tekken, you know, like a book, you know it by heart, and you have super good execution, then Kazuya is a monster. He still has weaknesses, you know, in the offense, but he's a monster if you have those. But I get a little bit worried when I see in the trailer that he has back 2-2. I love what it does with his combos, because it's gonna up his damage a shitload. But if it actually patches his weakness and gives him a very good, reliable offensive string, you know, back 2-4, mid-high, you're able to mix that with back 2-2, mid-mid, to catch people who try and duck back 2-4. And of course, back 2-4-1 extension, you know, if he actually gets a very usable string, oof, that could do a lot for the character, you know. I'm not gonna do this or anything, but I really hope, you know, suddenly like, oh, his big weakness regarding offense, it's kind of gone now, considering he got that string. So it's like, I really hope they're not overdoing it here and he loses part of his identity and he becomes pretty much the go-to Mishima. But we know too little so far about back 2-2, but it has me a little bit worried. And of course, it's also worth noting that they might remove the buff to the electric that the Mishimas got in Season 2. Suddenly it tracks to their weak side. You know, it tracks to both sides. It's quite realistic to think they're gonna remove that, because that was a big buff. And I agree, some people say it's too much, and I agree to some extent. You know, it made Kazuya a little bit more brain dead, but well, a little bit more easier to use. But it's not like it suddenly turned the Mishimas into tournament winners, you know, or anything like that. Devil Jin still being very strong, of course. Yeah, Kazuya, I'm a little bit on the fence. I don't know what we're gonna do with him. I really wish he would just stay the way he is, because he's super interesting to me and he works very well the way he is right now. Heihachi, obviously in the trailer, got a while-standing launcher that seems reasonably fast. It's not going to do anything to him on competitive level. I think, because JDCR is the only one who plays him, and JDCR can crouch cancel electric every time. Although that's gonna make it more reliable. Maybe it's stressful to have to crouch cancel electric in, you know, very hectic situations. But Heihachi is fine the way he is, in my opinion. What can they do to him at this point? You know, enormous damage, best mids in the game, great pressure. What can they do? And now you're probably thinking, oh, give him a viable low. Well, as soon as they do that, the character's broken, so it can't happen. He's interesting. That's why I love seeing JDCR play him, because like Armor King, very flawed character Heihachi in competitive play. Very flawed, just like Armor King. And that gives the characters identity and character, you know. I don't want that taken away from them. Because that's what happened to Jin. Like, you make him too perfect. You make Steve too perfect, and suddenly the character is completely uninteresting. You know, because where there is good, there should be bad. If a character just excels at everything, it's just like, well, you know, it's just not fun. But Heihachi can stay the way he is. Armor King should stay the way he is. In the trailer, we see him do a knockdown low with his arm. It's an arm sweep. We don't see the startup. We don't know how unsafe it is. I'm guessing it's going to be launch punishable. We don't really know the effects of that, but Armor King doesn't need a new low. He already has down 3, down 4, and his goddamn throws. What he needs are workable mids. Mids to mix up with his throws. So seeing him get a fucking arm sweep low, it's like, well, it's like seeing Kazuya get another, what, hell sweep. It's like, well, he already has a hell sweep. You know, it's like, well, I mean, okay, if it was a launching hell sweep, it would be different. But still, Armor King, he needs more mids. Fast, hard-hitting mids that give momentum. That's very lacking right now. If he got a mid, you know, that gave plus frame, a quick mid that gave plus frames on block, that would be huge for Armor King. Especially if it had some tracking as well. But what character wouldn't want something like that? Dragunov is great the way he is. King is great the way he is. Although I could see nerfs coming to King. He's just complete fucking beast. But still very hard to use and complicated. Could stay the way he is, or he gets a little nerf. Dragunov is fine. Armor King is fine, but should perhaps get a mid. Perhaps give him a mid, you know, wouldn't hurt in my opinion. Noctis should have his aura reworked, because it's bullshit. Or if you don't do that, remove the knockdown on downback 2. Thanks. But the aura shouldn't track. You should use his homing moves. Aura should not track, if you ask me. Or, you know, have it track a little bit, but not make it fully homing, you know, in certain ranges. But I would, if you fix that, please buff Noctis in other ways. His prime weakness is getting pressured. You don't have to do anything about that, but give him more, like, viable offensive tools. Like maybe a new mid string or something cool, you know, just something more to mix up with when it comes to the offense would do a lot for the character in my opinion. Lee should get a buff. Still very fun to look back at the Season 2 reveal. We got the changelog for Lee, and then people tried Lee, and for the first few days people were like, Lee is broken. Lee is up here, he's fucking S tier. Have you seen his 50 damage 10 frame punish? Have you seen his backback 4 into pickup launch? Have you seen his down 3 counter hit into combo? I mean, he's suddenly the best character. But, of course, then a few days later, people slowly float down from the cloud, you know, where they're lying down, just, Lee's the best. And they come floating down, and suddenly they're back to Earth again, and they're like, oh right, doing that 10 frame punish is super hard. Doing down 3 counter it into combo is super hard. Every single one of those buffs Lee got, in classic Lee fashion, involves you doing something super technical. Every single one of those buffs. is like, oh, it's super hard to do. So kudos to Bandai Namco because it's completely in line with the character. Nothing should be easy. If you with Lee want to get something that you get for free with Josie or Katarina, you know, like press a button or knock this, you know, press a button, keep hammering the next button next to that one, get 70 damage. Oh, he's up on the wall with Katarina. Do a big stomp. And now press up back 4. Screen explodes. 70% damage. Oh, you want to do that with Lee? Are you a rocket scientist? No? Okay, don't play Lee. Lee, to do anything with Lee that you can do super easy with other characters, it's like 5 times the effort. Like Lee's down 3 is a very risky low, it's minus 15. And now they add a counter hit property to it where it launches. It's like, it's a big buff, but we have other characters who can do this, you know. Geese down 4, Jin down back 4, we have Alyssa down 3. We have multiple examples of this. But of course, with Lee, not only is the low launch punishable, but the buff with the combo, it's like, you need great timing to land that. And of course, in stressful situations, you'll see even I'm Your Father, arguably the greatest Lee player in the world, drop it. And that 10 frame punish, like 1 3 3 3, what, acid rain. Every single kick is just frame. It's like... so you know what, I wouldn't mind seeing Lee get more buffs, and they can still have them be, you know, difficult to do. It's the character, but yeah, just give him more shit, because it's such a beautiful character to watch, and I'd love to see more of him in tournaments. To be honest, who wouldn't want to see more of Lee? Is there any other fighting style in this game that's more aesthetically pleasing to the eye? Just his stance alone, you know, that and the, you know, acid storm, like those machine gun kicks, and back 1-1-2, you know, I just find it so beautiful to watch. And well, buffs. Gigas is the character that really needs buffs. He's one step below every single character in this game. Just do something. You know, I know he's got a new bound move that's gonna make a lot of moves now turn into proper launchers, but he needs a lot to climb. So please give Gigas some stuff. Lars also deserves buffs. He's got a backlash now from silent entry, judging by the trailer. Great buff. He could get more than that though. Although, yeah, we don't know how effective that backlash is just yet. It might actually be exactly what he needs and super good, but please. Eliza, as awkward as she is to play against, because let's face it, you have no idea how to play against her, and me neither, although I've studied her a little bit now. But what she has that's very deadly is that no one plays her, no one knows how to play against her, so you just get blown up by her circus stuff. No, it's just a tard fest playing against an Eliza. But when you do actually study her and, you know, you actually look at her tools, she's a terrible character. Terrible. All she has is that you have no idea about her. So she could get buffed, in my opinion. Negan needs buffs. Not a strong character. Also lives a lot on people not knowing the matchup. Needs to get buffed. Specifically, his tracking is terrible. He's sluggish in strings. We know he's got a new low that seems very strong on frames, but it's probably going to be launch punishable. Maybe it tracks a lot. But these are the characters like I really wanted to talk about. But other than this, on this list here, I feel like Alyssa is fine. Akuma is, to be honest, fine, I would say. If you have enormous execution, he is a brutal character, you know, and we're learning more about the character as time progresses. How much new Akuma tech have you seen just the last few months alone? People are still discovering this character. Hwoarang is fine the way he is, I would say. We know he has a buff in Downward 1-3 from the trailer. That's a pressure buff. That's good. Bob is fine the way he is, very underused. Nina could be buffed, to be honest. Of course, if you don't have a matchup, you're gonna get blown up by your strings. But on a fundamental level, especially, you know, professional level, her tools are rather lackluster and punishable. So I could see her getting buffed. Brian, fine the way he is. Lily has hitbox issues that could get fixed, in my opinion. Probably just fix her hitbox problems. Maybe gives her some more range on Downward 1. Asuka is fine the way she is. Xiaoyu is fine the way she is. Feng Wei is fine. Leo is fine. It's like these characters are really good. Feng, Leo, but no one plays them. I guess people find them boring. Yoshi needs buffs, I would say. Katarina is fine. Jack is fine. Claudio is fine. He's a very solid mid-tier. Kazumi could get a nerf, but that's where like godlike players really make her look broken, you know, with her super crisp fundamental tools. But yeah, I'm on the fence on that one. Lucky Chloe, people keep saying she's not very good, but I think it's more no one plays her and people are not utilizing her to her full potential. I don't think she should be buffed or nerfed. Josie, fine. Shaheen, fine. Master Raven. Well, I mean, Shaheen and Master Raven, I should have no opinion here. I know too little about them. But I see great players do great things with them. Eddie could get a pressure buff. Well, I mean, he already got a punish buff, as we saw in the trailer. A new 12 or 13 frame punish into a handstand. Miguel is really good. Kuma, Panda, no opinion. Anna needs hitboxes fixed and she could be buffed. I would put her on the buff list. Marduk is fine. Lei is fine. Now there we really have a character that it's incredibly underused, and the best Lei players we've seen so far, do they even utilize like 60% of the character's potential? And then of course I hope you saw the video on that Pakistani Lei player who, you know, gives Arslan Ash, the best player in the world, a run for his money, you know. So I'm thinking we're gonna see more of Lei in the future, and I don't think he needs buffs or nerfs. But oh shit, he got buffed in season 3, right? His down back 4, you're going to be able to cancel that into drunken 3-1 or something and screw from that. Bound. It just sounds scary. Julia I know too little about. Highly technical character, needs a lot of execution, but from what I hear is very powerful if you make her work. So I'm thinking, just from what I've heard, she's fine. Just hard to play. But that's my opinion on buffs and nerfs, and this clocked in at half an hour, so I'm kind of happy with that, I gotta say. But yeah, just to sum it up, what I feel is most important, this character needs work. This one, this one, this one. To me, those are like the absolutely, you gotta take a look at them. Absolutely. So yeah, I feel that's gonna be it actually for this just bombardment of wisdom from Mainman.